Alright, next box. Yep, feels like another cylinder. And for those dumbasses that think I'm buying all the Harley parts and hoarding them, screw you. You can outbid me and get all these cylinders you want too. Because I don't pay a lot for these because they're big ass cylinders that aren't very good. Yep, looks like another cylinder. Ooh, maybe this is a flathead. Feels bigger. It doesn't want to come out. Popcorn and paper is coming out all at once, making a big mess. I don't like big messes. I gotta pick them up. Alright, what do we got in here? Oh yeah, that's definitely a flathead cylinder. Another 45 cylinder. It's too light to be a big 20. Still got a mess on the floor. Damn. Alright, let's see what this one is. Start somewhere around here. There it is. Yep, definitely a flathead. Oh, damage good. They don't roll as good as big twin cylinders. And that was that exhaust port over there. Pick on me, see I'm butchering Harley parts again. Okay, that is a rear 45 cylinder. So we can tell it's rear by the shape of it. See, push rods are on this side over here. So exhaust intake. So if you know how the Harley is made with a V angle like that, you can tell it's a rear one and not a front one. See, the front one would be over here. We don't have exhaust in the middle of the bike. We got in the back of the bike. So that's a rear one. So this one here, rust isn't too bad on the gasket surface. Valve seats aren't very deep. Still got the lip on there from how they're machined. See, they got that double step in there. That's how genuine Harley ones are cut pretty good. And you can see that the distance between the double cut is not too deep in here. That tells you it's not too big on diameter also, which means it doesn't have too many valve jobs done on it. The next thing is you look at how much radius is in here. There's not much radius in here, so this is pretty big. Got one broken fin. Looks like the intake nipple has got some damage right here. Not too bad. Exhaust spigot's only got one extra screw out in it to hold a pipe in, which doesn't work. So now there's a hole right there in the exhaust spigot you gotta weld up. Looks like it's got all the fins on it. Another chip right there, no biggie. Not too bad. It's a 36 casting right here. Tells you it's 1936 when they came out with this design. That's when this wide manifold came out. Let's see, it goes that way. Like this, two of them. The early ones were T, they went straight across like a panhead. Those would be RL cylinders. And the big thing between these and the aftermarket repops is you see all the heavy metal in here. This heavy fillet in through here. I don't know if you can see from here. Try to get if you look at how it's made, see how it tapers real. Starting here, it starts tapering up, and right here it really goes big. So it puts a lot of metal through here, which makes it really strong on the flange so it doesn't break. The aftermarket cylinders, they cut that straight down with a big chop saw, big cutter straight in like that, all the way around. Very, very weak. They break. So you're always looking for a nice thick cylinder. That's what you want to see. got some fairly significant rust in there. A little bit chip in the spigot, but it's down low, so it doesn't matter. It's not heavily rusted, but it is fairly heavy. It's definitely going to take a 10 bore to cut the rust out. But on that, looks like a pretty good cylinder. Another big chip right there. Can't really see that though, so no biggie. Yeah, overall it's not too bad. See how big it is. Probably pretty big, I bet. Oh, what was that? So if I had to guess on the bore, I'm going to guess 60. So 3/4 is standard bore, 2 3/4. This would be 2,750. Boy, was I wrong. 2,835. That's way up there. So 800 would be 50 over. 30 more would be 80 over, and we're loose, so we're 85 over. So that's pretty big. Well, there's a sharp through there. And it's sharp there, not so much here. Yeah, there you go. I thought it was a little bit smaller. Oh well. Hopefully I didn't pay much for it. That's going to have to be sleeved, or you're going to have a 100 over piston. And custom pistons are not cheap. So, at least all the bolt holes look good. Threads look good in the holes. So that's a good thing. Now this is Harley thread on this bolt, so don't go putting a standard tap in there. These are not 7/16 coarse thread. Two threads different. They're Harley thread. So standard is 7/16, 14 or 16. I think it's 16. These are 14, but maybe it's the other way around. I forget. One way to tell. Go look at our chart over here. I think it's 14. I think it's standard. Yep, 14 is standard. So those are 16 in between fine and coarse. Some of that Harley thread, otherwise known as industrial threads for the 30s and 20s and teens. Yeah. During World War II, they standardized threads, and they came up with some new ones. So 1/4 inch is different, 7/16 is different. So number 12 was used a lot back in the day, not much after. All things that happened during World War II. A lot of things happened back then. A lot of stuff happened, big time stuff. But we didn't have a fine and coarse thread back then, you only had one thread. So, there you go. Alright, so it looks pretty good. Like I said, it's got a big nick right there, it's going to have to be dealt with there. So, no biggie. Minor stuff. Nice looking cylinder, just junk, too big. We'll add it to my junk pile over there. I got a couple of them already over there, huge. Alright, let's go see what else we got.